first
Well,
impressions?
the Aspen Institute is this great global resource that is involved in problem framing and problem solving on issues, wide-ranging, including the needs of youth, the challenges of tomorrow, how to strengthen democratic society, specific issues of great importance like the role of healthcare in our economy in the future, or the future of work, or how do we make sure more kids get strong college prep education before they go to college. Such a wide range of issues of great importance to the country. And the Aspen Institute is an entirely nonpartisan convening and sort of strategy organization that helps people come together to frame and solve problems. So my first couple weeks on the job, I was meeting all these different leaders in Washington, D.C. Who are working on innovative approaches to solving the challenges of poverty, say, by working on both parents and kids, a two-generational approach. Or I was able to meet with colleagues that are organizing this national commission on social and emotional development of children and how we can emphasize that more in our schools, in our communities. Or I met with this incredible leader at Aspen named Tom Ferry, who's doing work to strengthen access to sport all across the country among kids of low and modest income backgrounds, and also to help coaches all around the country learn some of the ways they can really make impacts in the development of youth through the work of being an educator who happens to be a coach. And so there's all these different issues that the Aspen Institute is working on in its DC office. So the first 2 weeks on the job, that's what I was focusing on, is learning about some of those programs and meeting the leaders. Now I'm out in Aspen, Colorado, which is of course the sort of spiritual center of the Aspen Institute. We were founded here almost 70 years ago, and a lot of the ideals of the Aspen Institute today grow out of our founding. A deep respect for holistic learning and the role of the arts and humanities in the cultivation of individuals in society, a love of dialogue and conversation with an edge towards trying to find the breakthrough ideas that make a difference, a desire to experience community and nature and ideas and music and art holistically, so that we can flourish as human beings and as communities. And so it's so exciting for me to now be here in Aspen for Spotlight Health and the Ideas Festival, the Security Forum, as well as so many of the programs happening in town, the Music Festival, the work at Anderson Ranch. There's so much happening in Aspen, Colorado. And having the opportunity to first be in DC for a couple of weeks and see the Aspen Institute's work there, and then to come here to Aspen and see the Aspen Institute's living presence here amidst all these other great resources, it's incredibly inspiring.
And
every year at the Aspen convenings, at the Aspen Institute convenings, the issues of the moment become topics within the programming. Kitty works for a year with her team to build the schedule. So it's not as if we're likely to drop 5 programs in order to find 5 speakers in order to suddenly address the next topic. But that's why we also organize almost all of our sessions with Q&A components, so that the audience can ask about the emerging issues right now and how they relate to the topic being discussed. And so certainly the terrible tragedy of families being separated at the border, or the latest development in trade policy, which is unfolding day by day, or possibly some new question that emerges out of something that happens in Washington or around the world, should be asked about and brought into the forum. My learning curve is very, very steep. I have a lot that I want to learn fast. Just like somebody who's going to college. You get to college and say, oh my goodness, there's so much to learn, there's so many exciting ideas, there's so much ahead. Or how can I have not known about that? Or who can teach me this? And so I plan to be a very, very dedicated student during the Ideas Festival and go to lots of discussions and panels in order to just raise my game on some of the issues that I've been a little bit aware of, but where I would like to go deeper. I worked in higher education for the past 20 years, and I've learned a lot. about education policy and practice and about the needs of young people and about how our schools and our colleges and universities can respond to the needs of the young and can adapt our offerings to be both relevant and empowering for kids. And so that I think I understand pretty well. I love, for example, the bridge between college and high school and college, and how college educators and high school educators are together teaming up to make build a bigger bridge, a better bridge, so the students have a stronger transition from one to the other. That kind of work I've got down. But I have so much more I want to learn about everything from public health to national security to the future of work and the future of employment to our relationship with animals. From my background working in education my entire life, pretty much, I know that we have to, as humans, attend to the holistic development of children and youth. That it matters for everyone, for communities, for educators, for companies, for government, to always be aware of the full holistic needs of young people, and to realize that whether they're 1 year old or 5 years old or 12 years old or 17 years old, they're going through tremendously important developmental moments. As parents, we know that. So when I see a circumstance like the one that has been presented, where children are separated from their parents, and their basic core developmental needs are not being met because their parents are not there. They're scared and alone, and emotionally full of stress. There's real developmental harm to that, and I think it is important for the government, and it seems they're going to address this problem. I think focusing on children and youth and their needs is an excellent way to actually serve our whole society.
And this is children.
If you look over the past 14 years of the Aspen Institute's trajectory, what's striking is what an extraordinary job Walter Isaacson and the leadership team and the board and all of its supporters, including the Society Fellows, have done in building a global nonprofit force of good that helps make the quality of life better, surfacing important issues and coming up with solutions. The reach of the Aspen Institute is dramatically larger than it was just half a generation ago, and that's exciting. What I plan to do is to listen and learn, observe, join the work, celebrate the work, and in time, perhaps add a shaping voice to some of the work we do. I think if you look at any issue of the day, you will find people of all political backgrounds interested in participating in dialogue. I don't think there's any difficulty in finding people from one political party who want to work on the framing of the issue. So then that's part of the Aspen Institute's role, is to have an open and inviting table. And everybody who wants to be at the table can come. If they don't want the table to exist, they don't have to come. The Institute is like a college campus in that it gathers together learners from all walks of life who would like together to discuss big ideas and their application in today's society. And that's so exciting. It's the Aspen Institute, the Aspen, Colorado-based Aspen Institute, is a little different than a college campus in that we don't have that many 18 to 21-year-olds who are themselves really defining the culture of campus life. And most of our programming ends at about 9 o'clock, which is just lunchtime on a college campus. So there's some difference, but a big similarity. I think one of the things most important is that the Aspen Institute's summer activities here in Aspen, Colorado, and a college campus should both be committed to free inquiry, civil and respectful dialogue, following evidence and facts to as far as we can to understand what breakthrough knowledge we can learn together, ensuring that the table is open, the dialogue is free for all, and valuing the contributions that can be made by anyone to a conversation about the issues of the day. In that sense, we're very much alike. Now, my mom, her name was Ann Butler, and if anybody were, like, you Google her, you'll find all these books that she wrote.
Is that Ann with an E?
Yeah, with an E, yeah. And she actually sent herself to college as a single mother when my sister and I were young, and she went back to college while working to support us and learning at night. in her 30s at then Towson College outside of Baltimore, and then University of Maryland. And like other women that go back to college, while they're taking care of their kids, they also are developing their own aspirations, what they want to do and think and learn and how they want to grow. And so she got one degree, a BA, and decided why not another one. Got an MA, decided why not keep going. Wrote a dissertation on prostitution in the West that people thought wasn't history because they weren't thinking of the West that way at the time. It was just sort of territorial acquisition, not that much more. And so she actually helped a little bit to create her field. And I always think of my mom's story as part of the reason why it's so important to provide talented people with access to affordable college education so that they can then contribute to society, to raise their families well, but also contribute to the knowledge base and the understanding of society. Because I believe that the historians of yesteryear would never have written that book about prostitution in the American West and the development of culture in Aspen and elsewhere from the sort of like the status quo perspectives. You needed to have a woman coming back to college from a modest economic background who had a different lens and could see our history and our country in a new way. That's what Aspen can do too, is provide more people with more lenses at the table, contributing their perspectives and expanding our understanding of who we are.
Could you tell us?
Like anybody starting a new job, the biggest challenge is taking it all in because there's so many people to meet, there's so much to learn, there's so much ongoing work, decades long, that really matters. And I love being exposed to it. It's been just an education in itself these first 3 weeks. And I think time management is probably the challenge, how to do it all. But I have a lot of desire to be out there and meeting people throughout Aspen, throughout the town of Aspen, to be learning the Aspen Institute's programs and taking part in as much of the Spotlight Health and Ideas Festival and Security Forum as I can. It'll be a lot of fun. I also am really interested in talking to the kids that we're bringing in to all these different programs so that I can hear from them what they're taking away from the experience of being at the Aspen Institute this summer.